does this deal bring Memphis into the conference?
Well,
because I think this is a big question. Over the weekend, I know it wasn't Yogi Roth, so wow.
Monty.
I said okay.
Monty.
Listen to Ed Scott talking about the Pac-12 and what he's focused on for Memphis.
I know that she's worried about finding her 8th full member. I'm worried about trying to get us into a Power 4 conference. That is our first goal unequivocally and has always been our goal. I've had no real substantive conversations with Val Ackerman. Told y'all before, and I'll tell you again. When we get an offer, I will stand up in front of you and be accountable for whatever decision I make as the athletic director in conjunction with the president and the board of trustees. But until we get an offer, there's nothing for me to talk about. I checked my email knowing I was going to get that question today just before I left, and I did not see any breaking news on the ticker that the Pac-12 announced their media deal.
Well, now they've announced their media deal. Oh, wait, they haven't because we have no idea what it's worth.
Yeah.
Is Memphis interested in the Pac-12? I think their interest is tepid. And I say that because if Memphis comes into the Pac-12, and it's only a 3-game deal, does CBS expand its deal with the Pac-12 if Memphis is a football member? I have to think they do, because Memphis is a hell of a brand, and I think Memphis would be a massive win. Memphis, I think, would trump any loss you had with not getting UNLV.
No question about it.
Right?
Memphis is a bigger ad than UNLV.
I think Memphis. I haven't made a secret of this at all on this show. I think Memphis is a really good athletic department and a really good university that has its roots, footing, and grounding. Its foundation are the people of Memphis that support that program. And I'm telling you, if you get Memphis football, that'd be amazing. But if you know you're rooted in Memphis, do you want your fans to have to travel to Corvallis, Oregon? Do you want your fans to have to travel to Spokane, Washington? Do you want your fans to have to go to Fresno, California? I don't necessarily believe that's the right move.
Right.
To send, the great fans of Memphis football to Boise, Idaho. Because none of those road trips are attractive. If you're in Memphis and you're a fan of Memphis football, how many of those road trips are San Diego always, because you've got cleavage and great Mexican food? Who says no?
Right.
Who says no?
Right.
Outside of that, what do you have? And I also think it's very interesting that he talked about the fact that he wants Memphis. Dr. Ed Scott said his focus is Memphis in a P4. And again, I'll bring up the Big 12 because I think when we look at the Big 12, and I am not being, oh, you're clickbaiting, Marty. I'm telling you right here, right now. You want to know why the Big 12 is in trouble and why Marty's clickbaiting today? Well, I'm not, because look, here's your strength of schedule for college football. Go ahead and find me somebody in the top 35. Like, it's really tough to do, man. You go up and down this list and you say to yourself, look at the number of expected wins from any conference. And you start looking at these wins and you're like, well, damn, Purdue. And dude, the Big 12 does not play anybody of note.
And then you guys want to complain that Greg Sankey's an asshole for saying that the SEC should lean on strength of schedule, and that strength of schedule should be the core metric, followed by a bunch of bulleted metrics in support of that.
Look at Baylor at 38. I believe that's the top team in the Big 12.
It is.
And then you go to Oak State at 41, TCU at 45. You go to Colorado at 49. You go to West Virginia at 52, the U at 54, UCF at 56, Arizona 57, Kansas 58, Arizona State at 60, K-State at 61, Houston 62, God damn it, Joey Maguire at 63.
I swear to God, if he wins anything less than 10, dude.
Like, this is, you guys, this is shocking. Shocking for the Big 12. And so when we're sitting here talking about, hey, Ed Scott wants to join a P4, I mean, you look at this and I say to myself, when I look at strength of schedule, and I will continue to sit here and tell you, with Memphis at 116 on this list, tell me Memphis football doesn't fit right in with the Big 12. Tell me Memphis basketball doesn't fit right in with the Big 12.
Well, I think clearly they fit in basketball
Incredibly well.
Yeah, I think that would be actually. I think that would be the impetus to do this. That would be like the selling point. Is, hey, we have a dominant basketball program that leads the American consistently. And frankly, when we get into the tournament, we beat teams the caliber of the teams in the Big 12 pretty regularly. And that, I think, is a selling point.
It is frustrating to me that this conference won't schedule up and do what needs to be done to win big-time football games. It's really disappointing. And I understand we talk about this stuff all the time. At what point are you guys going to give me my flowers on the fact that Tyrese Halliburton's not a star?
Excuse me, the Halliban?
Oh, I'm sorry. If Mr., not so strong Achilles tendon.
That's HIPAA.
Anyway, my point is, when do I get my flowers that the Big 12's not doing everything it can do to win every football game it plays?
Yeah, I think it's hard to dispute that anymore.
How? And again, whether it's Oak State James, stroking himself to the transfer portal, or I don't even know what.
You got to get stroked.
Right? Like, I don't understand what we're doing with Texas Tech. You have where's this talent been? Now go build a schedule, because I think all of you that hate on the SEC, I just ask you, look at the top 10, man. Well, A&M, I think last time I checked, they used to be in the Big 8. Now they're in the SEC. LSU, the Cox of South Carolina, Kentucky. Hey, we don't need the Sooners in this conference.
Boomer Sooner.
That's 5, 6 in Vandy, 7 at Mississippi State, 8 at Florida, and 9 at flippin' Arkansas.
And look who's right after A&M, bro.
Yeah, Georgia, Auburn, Bama, Purdue.
Like, come on, dude.
Texas. You look at this thing, and I just continue to say, stop talking about what a jerk Greg Sankey is and start asking yourself why your athletic director isn't making a better football schedule.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
And so I turn around, I bring all this full circle to say, if the Pac-12 gets Memphis, you better watch out, because Memphis is going to make the Pac-12 a far more competitive football conference. And they're obviously not bringing all their sports if that were to happen. And I'm not saying it is, or you add Memphis to the Pac-12 and now we're having a different conversation. And if you are a fan of the Big 12, you better be writing letters, emails, calling your athletic director saying, schedule up, because strength of schedule is going to matter. Chewy Gonzalez for $2. Is the Juan Soto deal good? Not seeing good ROI.
Well,
I mean, it's June 23rd.
Here's the deal, dude.
His
average is only, I think, 15 points off of what it was as a Yankee this time last year. Everyone points to the home run discrepancy. I think this time I was watching the Mets Phillies over the weekend, and they put a graphic up talking about how I think this time last year he had like 20 bombs or something, like some ridiculous number.
Can we be honest about what he was with the Yankees? He was a guy whose only job was to make sure that Aaron Judge saw more pitches, and it actually got flipped. Aaron Judge made sure Juan Soto saw more pitches.
Yeah.
Who are you really scared of in the Mets lineup? With all due respect, I watch a lot of baseball. When you lose 2 of 3 and it was ugly to Philadelphia, am I really concerned about Starling Marte, who is hitting 254 protecting Juan Soto or Pete Alonso, who was 0 for 4 last night?
The polar bear.
Excuse me, fat ass who's got 18 bombs and 290,
Gosh.
sitting 290 and 18 bombs with 64 RBIs.
You know.
So is that Juan Soto or is that polar bear guy thing?
Yeah, such as
Awkwardly shaped fat ass dude.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's a give and take there. You're not hitting it in the middle of the Yankee lineup anymore. And you don't have dudes all over the place
and
protecting.
You don't have the right field fence.
So,
bro.
well, and then there's that.
Again, to answer the question, it's way too early to say the contract is a waste. And this is what every baseball fan and their mom does with these ridiculous contracts.
It is.
Because notice nobody was questioning Ohtani's contract when the Dodgers and Padres decided they want to throw at each other and punch each other in the face over the weekend. Right. Nobody was concerned about it then. But as soon as somebody, goes to a different ballpark for 82 games and doesn't have as much protection around him and his numbers go down a little bit. Oh, now the contract's not worth it. Give the guy a couple of seasons, dude. Let's see what the guy's like in 3-4 years.
Aztec Von Tweeler.
Okay.
I'm not encouraged or discouraged until I see the entire media deal. Good news, we have a few on CBS. Bad news, time is running short. Let's effing go and get expansion done. JD needs to stay the F out of it.
Well,
I
couldn't have
think
said it better myself.
I think that's a very rational take, which is surprising coming from a San Diego State fan. My question is exactly your question. You have a few games on CBS. You already have that. I agree with you. You need to see the rest of it. Conundrum. Who in the Pac-12 is paying $20.5 million per team for football players? Probably nobody. Maybe Boise. Maybe Boise. Maybe. Jeff Woodworth. Oregon State, Washington State, and one Boise State game.
I mean, that would be the obvious inference, but I don't think that we can just say with 100% certainty that's what it's going to be because, and again, this is where you get into the muck. This is the gray area, the big ass question mark on this deal. Hey,
I agree.
One, when do they have to actually pick the game? I mean, if in the contract it says, hey, well, you got to pick one game in the first month of the season. That's your first commitment, right? We're obviously just announced this deal. We're going to want to make good on this deal early in the season to celebrate it, to give the conference momentum, to push things forward. Okay. So I would be shocked if there wasn't a big CBS game from the Pac-12 in the first month of the season. Would be absolutely shocked. But then after that, that's where I think we're going to see the real value and interpretation. Because if we get one game in the first month of the season, but then I don't see you again on big CBS until, week 0 is August 23rd, bro. If I don't see you again until middle of September, that's a problem, bro.
Huge.
That's a big problem.
Well, and I think that's why. Did you guys see the video of Teresa Gould walking out of the CBS headquarters today?
Go ahead.
Oh, fucking God.
Jeff?
Yeah, a little dark in those negotiations there, Teresa.
Jeff, you're welcome.
Jeff.
And it's nice that he has Teresa Gould.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
See what he did there? That's Teresa Gould.
Travis, Utah State versus Texas State has to be on CBS.
Oh,
Stop.
man. Wow.
That San Marcos market is going to
Wow. Seventh best team in Texas.
I love that show.
Trav. Logan versus San Marcos, the two biggest media markets in college football. But money.
Man, let me tell you what.
But money. Fight on, Natty. Screw you. Good to see you, friend. No, I'm going to leave it alone. I personally don't like the coverage that CBS does with the Big Ten. It is, yeah, I agree with that. You're not going to tell me that Notre Dame sucks or screw the Irish or anything today?
He's a bum.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah,
Usually your
doing,
first comment is screw Notre Dame.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Xavier Ayers, is it not 3 games per school? No, I'm going to say it's not.
Put it back on the screen. I mean, it's up for interpretation.
I mean,
3
regular season football games. I missed the part where it. Excuse me,
Monty, are your eyes okay? I know you've been a little tired lately. Are you reading that right?
I missed the part where it says per school. No, it's not per school. That would be amazing. Fight on Natty. Not a fan whatsoever of those 12 p.m. kickoff, dude. They're terrible. If you're a USC fan, that's the bane of your existence.
Yep.
Right. VX hasn't even worn off from the house party last night at the film school. And you have, I hate you. It's fine.
Okay, it's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, you guys aren't even awake yet. You guys haven't even left your No Kings rally. And they're kicking off.
Bro, dude, we don't need to get into warheads and bunker busters and No Kings, and we don't need to get into this. Is a sports program. We stay in our lane, you know.
Danny Kiger.
Hey, Danny.
No dollar figure money because this is clearly a transformational partner.
It was only a matter of time, Mike.
Why, Danny? Why be a jerk about it? Why? At least save your hating comments for after Yogi Roth goes down on. Never mind.
We're really looking for a transformational partner.
Oh my God, just like that. Oh.
It's the first sentence.
Wait, you got to play the older clip. Go back to the older clip. I need to hear it again.
It was the.
Can we
that
retread
was
some
the
more, bro?
first question.
You know, the one thing I keep saying to potential partners is, given where we are as a league, I don't want these partnerships to be transactional partnerships. I don't want this to be a media rights partner writing us a check and televising a bunch of games.
We're really looking for a transformational partner. A partner that as we launch into this new landscape of college athletics, this new model, this new framework that we're all living under, that we had a partner that would really support us and collaborate with us to build and launch this new league and really brainstorm about how we build something really special and different for the modern day student athlete and kind of what their expectations are in this new world of college athletics that we're living in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I get this confused? Did you just say that you wanted a media rights partner who was going to support you and it was going to be a transformational deal? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I misconstrue this that 3 total games as a commitment was supporting the Pac-12?
Jake, that's transformative in the wrong
Oh,
direction.
my God, bro. I mean, I must not understand English anymore if this is supposed to be supporting the Pac-12.
Yeah, I listen, I think the CBS deal is a very good deal. This is not a transformational deal. Let's settle down. Chewy Gonzalez for $5. The Monty Show stays in their lane like U.S. stays in their lane for the Israel-Iran war.
Bro.
What?
Yeah, I know what time it is.
Chewy, knock it off! Why are you throwing
Stop.
down the flames of the gas and stuff?
We get it.
Kerosene.
We have B-2 bombers. We
Lighter fluid.
understand,
Oh.
okay? We get it.
Yeah,
let's, you know.
I got a B-2 bomber for
Gosh.
you. Like
Jesus.
and his dad.
You kick a person when he's down.
But Monty, ACC West Coast Commissioner Gumby, Gumby says, so there's no back of the pizza box calculation? No.
Jesus.
No, there's not.
I'm a carb eating motherfucker.
You know, Dwight Lilly, Yogi was listening and asking questions that are relevant. He did not ask her a single difficult follow-up question.
Yeah, what do you mean, dude?
He did. It's Yogi Roth. He is the face of the Pac-12. On the media side, he is the face of the Pac-12. He's not going to go after.
Yeah, no duh.
Hey, where's the money? Why can't you tell us what you're making financially on this deal? What are the finances of this deal? Like, come on, man. Looking forward to the next announcement. I'm sure you are. No offense, Washington State, Oregon State. What did they do last year in football? They couldn't beat the Mountain West, as is now you think they're going to be competitive. I think a deal on CBS helps them recruit, right? You know.
Yeah, maybe they'll suck. I don't know. But they're certainly one of the bigger brands in the Pac-12.
But Monty says, hey, Gumby, it would be back of the subpoena calculations with how often the Pac is with their lawyers.
Jesus.
They got to stop suing people.
Back of the envelope calculations.
Let's see. Timothy O'Hara, Pac-12 fans are upset at the Mountain West because the Mountain West is a threat to them, and they're afraid the Mountain West will eliminate the Pac-12. Well, I think those days are over. Like, let it go, man. Let it go. I see all the people who are like, oh, just sweat them out. Like, why are you so hopeful that the Mountain West will fail? Is it only because you owe them a mountain of money? Is that what you're hoping for? Like,
I guess
that can be the only thing that makes sense. Phil Venzer, hello. The Pac-12 fans hate us for not joining them. I would think so. You know, Brett Sterling Green says they are not going to disclose the money until they complete the rest of the TV deal. That would be stupid and possibly undermine future negotiations. At least it's not an Apple TV exclusive. I totally agree with you.
But okay, to your point, if it was such good money, why would you not announce the number to then influence negotiations to get more out of the additional partners?
I could see it both ways. I listen, if this was such a transformational deal, you would have announced the money. No doubt about it.
There's no way to get away from it.
If again, you do the simple math on it, if $65 million is the number that, because that's the number we keep hearing, right? If it's $7.2 million per school, how much of the $65 million nut did CBS cover? How much of that $65 million bill? Let's say, right? Like you have a $65 million bill that's due every single year to your partners. How much of that did CBS cover? Do you really think they're kicking down $30 million a year? $32 million? I have a hard time believing that for 3 games a year. That does not seem right. I mean, I don't. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. That's the answer that I think we need questions to. How much did CBS help?
Yeah.
The Pac-12 meet that number? How
much did they chop that number down?
You know, I think that's a big deal. Monty owes a ribeye.
Well,
nothing beats a good Monty show.
Well, except a good ribeye
or a Cougar and Draper.
Right.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
You know, the Sir Killer. Okay. Boise is in all 3 football games and Gonzaga in all 3 basketball games. Well, but I think
but see, you can't do that to the conference. And I don't even disagree with the sentiment, but you can't do that.
But the Pac-12 is going to be a very good basketball conference. I think they will, if the Mountain West has shown us anything. What were they doing? Putting 4 teams a year essentially in the tournament. And I think they're going to continue to do that. But if you look at San Diego State, I would assume would go to the NCAA tournament most years. Gonzaga, certainly, that's the only reason they join the Pac-12 is to make sure they get into the tournament every year. You know, you look at Utah State, that's a fantastic program. And you just start doing some math and you understand that the new Pac-12 is going to be a good, probably not elite, but a good basketball conference. So now focus on football. And that's why the Memphis part.
Bless you, sir.
Hey, now, that's why the Memphis conversation is so huge. Because does Memphis, as a football only, now that we know the CBS deal's done, we don't know the money. But if you're Teresa Gould and you're calling Dr. Ed Scott, he knows the money. If Memphis doesn't join the Pac-12, it's going to be hard to argue that the money wasn't right. And I mean, I'm happy to play the fight again because I think it is really important. Because if Memphis joins this conference, bro, this is a different conversation.
Right.
And you hear what Ed Scott says here. Why hasn't Memphis joined the Pac-12?
I know that she's worried about finding her 8th full member. I'm worried about trying to get us into a Power 4 conference. That is our first goal unequivocally and has always been our goal. I've had no real substantive conversations with Val Ackerman. Told y'all before, and I'll tell you again. When we get an offer, I will stand up in front of you and be accountable for whatever decision I make as the athletic director in conjunction with the president and the board of trustees. But until we get an offer, there's nothing for me to talk about. I checked my email knowing I was going to get that question today just before I left, and I did not see any breaking news on the ticker that the Pac-12 announced their media deal.
I mean, that's pretty unequivocal. Show me the money, and we can talk about it. But until
you don't want to show your hand.
And my belief is the Pac-12 needs Memphis all in. Because what most people don't want to understand is the minute Memphis joins that conference, they're the best athletic department in the Pac-12. Because you look at what their non-basketball, football sports are doing, they're all pretty well run, and they have really good support. That basketball program needs a lift. If you put, and if I'm Ed Scott, I'm doing everything I can do to get into the Big 12, because I don't see how Memphis isn't just an absolute slam dunk home run, let's do it today addition for the Big 12.
Yeah, that's why I don't think the Pac-12 makes sense, because it's just a lateral move for you. I don't view it as a huge, massive step up.
And we don't know all the numbers, so we can't say what the net versus the gross is. Like, what is Ed Scott and anybody else who joins that conference? What would the net be based on travel and human infrastructure additions? We don't know that stuff, and I think guessing at that stuff is very difficult. Oh, Gumby, bless you. Bless you. David Persons, if the Pac-12 made a $64 million deal with CBS and associates, then a miracle has truly occurred here. I agree. They are in trouble. I don't know that they're in trouble. But it's not trouble. It's, are you existing or are you prospering?
Right.
This is the Pac-12 Mountain West conversation. If you want the Mountain West to die, if you're one of those Eeyores who just wants negativity for the Mountain West, go find yourself a $10 to $12 million a year deal, because that'll end the Mountain West right there. But my guess is you're going to come in between $6 and $7 million, which is not ending anybody. It's not going to end the Pac-12. That's enough. That's sustenance. But are you eating high on the hog? You're not. You're not. Okay. Well, let's say then the Mountain West gets $5 million. Is that ending the Mountain West? No. Are they eating off of a hog? Probably not. Right? I mean, nobody's dying.
Yeah.
But again, what have I been telling you since day one? Is anybody in business just to exist? Do you guys work your 9 to 5s just to break even? Not to have any Jack in the Box money? Not to have any weed money? Not to have any beer money?
Money to have